What's up, guys? Back here with another video for you here today. I'm finally reaching the end of this enormous stack of metal CDs that I've been kind of working my way through for the past month. And this was supposed to be exclusively a Thrash update, but it wound up being mostly Thrash with a couple power metal albums, a couple doom metal albums. So I'm going to cut right out into it. I've been watching the new Heavy Metallurgy episode with Scott Waters and Metal Theologian, and they were talking about Christian metal, and put me in the mood for this. This is not only one of my favorite thrash metal albums of all time, it's probably my favorite Christian metal album. Absolutely awesome thrash, kind of in between Hellstar and Thrash stylistically. It's great record. And we are drinking a Bell's Christmas Ale. I've been really on these holiday ales. This is basically a spiced Scotch ale, which, if you know anything about beer, Scotch ales are really, really good. Great. All right, let's get on into it. I got a couple t-shirts. I'm going to start showing my t-shirts just as I go, because I already did like a t-shirt collection video. I was at Meijer with my wife Christmas shopping this past week, and I was just like, happened to notice the graphic t-shirt design section, and there was a $7.99 sign. So I was like, all right, fine. I go on there, and there's a Rain and Blood t-shirt for $8. And I was like, you know, it's super generic and obvious, but like, you're kidding, right? Like $8 for a Slayer t-shirt. I said, why not? Grabbed it. This one as well, Number of the Beast t-shirt, $8. I mean, why not add it to the collection for that? Especially since I'm already there, gotten to run my card. So hyped to have them. They're gonna be nice shirts to have. Most of my Slayer and Maiden shirts are pretty ratty anyway. So let's start off with a heater. This reissue of Whiplash's first 3 albums on the Roadrunner Years compilation. I don't remember ordering this, but then I looked in my Amazon orders, and it was on its way. So I was like, okay, I guess. And I'm really glad I apparently ordered it. So I pulled the trigger on this unknowingly and got one of the greatest thrash metal albums of all time and 2 pretty good thrash records. The first record, Power and Pain, is an absolute heater, dude, of a thrash metal, speed metal record. It's riff-a-rama every step of the way. And this middle one here, which is Ticket to Mayhem, I hear people mention, specifically Marty Worm again in the Heavy Metallurgy stream, talk about how good that record is, and it's pretty good. It's a very thrash record compared to the heavy speed metal tones, old school, early 80s, 85, 87, and 89. It's a lot more thrashy. It sounds more like 87. And then 89 produced Insult to Injury, which is kind of more of that Ticket to Mayhem style of thrash. It's really, really interesting. It's good, but you know, the Power and Pain record, it's definitely the one that takes the cake in my book. It's the most enjoyable, the most replayable, the most memorable in my book. Really, really dig this. If you guys haven't picked this compilation up, it's the first 3 Whiplash albums on CD for like $26. How do you argue with it? It's impossible. Whiplash rules. Next, picked this guy's up at Half Price Crooks, as Joe from Joe's Metal Man Caves calls it. This is Conjure and Command by Toxic Holocaust. I just saw it in the bin, had to grab it immediately. So this comes with a full-length record and then a DVD of a live set from, I don't even know when the live set was. But this is great, dude. I love Toxic Holocaust. I have for a long, long time at this point. They're just re-listenable and fun. It's thrashy, punky, blackened, speed metal. You guys have heard Toxic Holocaust. It's nothing new. I've just been kind of wanting to get all this stuff, and it's pretty much consistency-wise, it's one of the best new thrash bands that there are. And just overall, great band. Love them. There's not much more I could say besides that. Next, switching it up. Not thrash on this one here. This is going to be some doom metal. This is a band that took me a long time to get into. This is Electric Wizard with Come My Fanatics. And it's also the self-titled Electric Wizard record. I didn't realize that until I already took it home. I got this at the old Crooks as well. It's the debut, both of them on like a double disc. There's a mildly pornographic image under the disc tray, so I'm not going to remove the discs. So it's really good, man. I didn't like this band that much at all. Even when I was like a stoner doom kid, I didn't like the vocals. I thought they were kind of annoying, which I'm not huge. That's probably one of my least favorite parts of this band still, is the vocals. I'm not a huge, big fan of the sludge style of vocal. But, you know, it's really fun. Brian Arkham was talking this up to me, and I finally just, I don't know, I just felt the need to make it happen and to enjoy it. So I'm super hyped to have it in the collection. Next, classic alert here, None Shall Defy by Infernal Majesty. Got this one off of Hell's Headbangers a couple weeks ago with a couple other things you guys have seen me show already, but it's just a great record. Absolutely unnecessary slipcase. Top shelf band photo. Great feral Canadian thrash. It's a little bits of death metal tinge to it here and there. It's not the most straight up thrash there it is. But it's a great record. I mean, it's fun and it's angry. I don't want to say it's one of a kind, because there are other bands that sound like this, but you know, not a ton. There's maybe like Protector and Messiah from Switzerland, maybe Magnus from Poland. That style of thrash, you know, it's not Teutonic, nor is it like American style thrash. It's a lot more angry, you know. If there's like a big four of Canada, it would probably be like Infernal Majesty, Slaughter, Sacrifice, and Razor, maybe. But and I think this would be a good representative of, I don't know, maybe like, I would say the Slayer, but I feel like the Slayer of Canada would be more like Sacrifice. Either way, I'm just rambling about nothing here. So Infernal Majesty rules. Go check this out if you haven't listened to it. All right, this album right here, I picked this guy up, and this is a straight up nostalgia trip. This is Time Is Up by Havoc. This right here is one of my favorite modern thrash bands, if not my favorite, because Lost Society has not ceased to disappoint me once in the past several years. Great digipack here. It looks really nice. I'm not a huge digi guy, you guys know this, but you know, everything about this band is great. The riffs are top shelf. The production sounds awesome. David Sanchez's vocals are great. The backing vocals from the rest of the guys, absolutely top tier. The lyrics, spot on. David Sanchez is very aware of the world around him, and I appreciate that, because usually you hear a lot of stupidity coming out of people's mouths. It's a great record. It's fun. It's super moshable, super catchy. I need to catch these guys lives. Need to catch these guys live sometime soon. Havoc rules. Next, a little bit of power metal. Ecliptica by Sonata Arctica. This is a Finnish power metal band, if you guys aren't familiar somehow. Absolutely stellar. It's melodic and it's really bombastic, you know, kind of in between the melodic and symphonic sound. Keyboard heavy, really memorable stuff. I have the first two Sonata Arctica albums now, and I can honestly say it's something I like regularly think about revisiting, you know. This and like Avantasia, and one album that's going to be in my year-end list, which is going to be the video after this one. It's just something I'm regularly re-listening to or wanting to, kind of getting a craving for. It's a lot of stuff to gnaw onto. It's a lot of fist pounding, quick double bass pounding, traditional metal influence, you know, just kind of turned up to time and a half, basically. It's great. You guys have all probably heard this at this point. It's textbook European, I guess, second wave power metal, because this is 1999. Yeah, top tier. 2 discs from an absolutely Great band. One of my favorite bands in the thrash genre. I have Terrible Certainty by Creator and Violent Revolution. I'm going to talk about Terrible Certainty first. This is the first... Actually, this is not the first. Sorry. This is, I think, the second Creator album I might have heard. I think I heard either Pleasure to Kill or Extreme Aggression first. I think it was Extreme Aggression. And this might have even been third. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's really feral, and I don't find this one nearly as memorable as, you know, they would get, you know, come Pleasure to Kill, come Extreme Aggression, come Coma of Souls. I feel like this is really good thrash for an atmosphere rather than, you know, singing along kind of stuff that you would get with, you know, your more vocal-based bands. This band seems to be really about the riffs and the songwriting in these early couple albums rather than, you know, getting their message across or being angry. The production value doesn't really seem to do a ton of favors for the vocals, which is, you know, what kind of makes me like a little bit more of the Destruction and Sodom than I do compared to this early Creator. I absolutely love Creator, don't get me wrong. I'm literally like comparing gold bricks here. So don't get me wrong if you think I'm trying to hate on Creator by any means. That's absolutely not what's going on here. But it's absolutely great. I need to listen to it some more so I can kind of get it etched into my brain a little bit like I do the next few records. But yeah, and then the bonus disc comes out with Out of the Dark Into the Light EP, and then a couple of live tracks, mostly from this record, and Flag of Hate and stuff like that. I think Flag of Hate's the last early Creator album I need to get a hold of. I don't remember, though. I could look behind me, but I don't really care enough to make that reference. Creator's great. Next is the Violent Revolution album. This is like a mid-era Creator album. It says it's 2022, which is a 2022 reissue because I'm pretty sure this came out, I want to say 2006? I don't particularly remember, because this came out when I got into thrash. It was already out, so that wouldn't have made any sense that it's that early. Okay, yeah, 2001. That makes a whole lot more sense. You know, a lot of people hate on the mid and later era of Creator. It's great. I really enjoy like the 2000s era of Creator. It's really catchy, and it's really, really melodic. Melee kind of changed his vocal style, which I think stands out a lot more. He's a lot more of, what's the guy from the Muppets who's got like the shrieky voice? He looks like a big test tube with the orange hair on his head. I don't know. He kind of sounds like that guy. But it's entertaining. It really fits with the style, I think. And then the bonus disc is a live CD up from the tour cycle, which is great because they end the show with some serious heaters. I mean, the last 4 tracks are Betrayer, Lost, which I don't really know the song Lost, but then Coma of Souls, Flag of Hate, and Tormentor. That's the stuff. That's what you got to get into with the Creator stuff. Great record. Next, let's get on some feral stuff again. This is Extreme Cold Weather by Messiah. This band is coming to the United States, and I am over the moon about it. They're playing near-ish my house, being down in the Chicago suburbs, which I'm only going to have to drive like an hour and 15 one way to go see these guys. They're playing with Exhumer, and I don't even know what to think about it yet. I got to buy the tickets still. But this is just an absolutely ton of fun thrash record. It's thrashy death metal, again, in that Infernal Majesty style, that Protector style, that Massacre style, things like that. It's just super one-of-a-kind vocally as well. It's fun. I don't know how much more I could say about something like this, other than you got to go listen to this one yourself. Go listen to this Messiah album. Let's switch it up here and get on some doom metal. This is The Call of the Wretched Sea by Ahab. Funeral Doom Masterwork. Absolutely, from 2006 out of Napalm Records. This is a German band, if somehow you aren't familiar with this group quite yet. It's slow and it's atmospheric, Obviously, it's all nautical theme, as you could probably have figured out by the album cover. I feel like there's nothing particularly new I could say here other than it's got that really wonderful, somber atmosphere you're looking for out of a Funeral Doom album. It's got clean guitar passages, clean vocal passages, and the enormity of this slow-sounding genre in general just fits with this kind of a theme to me really well. You know, the enormity and the mysterious nature of like sea life and probably what was Moby Dick said in like the mid 1800s. It's just unimaginable. It really is. Just the mysterious quality of the music really fits really well with that. So check out this Ahab album if for whatever reason you have not. Classic alert again. We keep busting at the classics here. This is Alice in Hell by Annihilator. I wish I liked this album more than I do. It's pretty good, but it's not my favorite by any means. I need to listen to it more. I gotta force myself to listen to this one to really digest it and form a proper True Blue opinion on this album. I like the title track quite a bit. It's very memorable and like catchy, but at the same time, the rest of the album, specifically the vocals, I'm like, it has like a Megadeth quality to it, which explains a lot because Megadeth is a band I'm like, pretty much all the time. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent. I'm glad to have it. I will be revisiting it though when I'm in this kind of mood, just because I want to solidify a good opinion on it, and it's a classic record, and I think at bare minimum it deserves the chance. So Annihilator, Alice in Hell. Next, War and Pain by Voivod. Another band that took me a good long while to get into. This album is pretty normal for thrash metal. It's very, I don't want to call it run-of-the-mill, but it's not nearly as one-of-a-kind as they would turn into on stuff like Killing Technology and Nothing Face. But it's a great record. It's tons of fun. It's old school thrash. It's got a really raw production. I don't know how to properly describe how I feel about the production other than it almost sounds watery, which is a weird way to describe something sounding. But it's great. I need to give this one some more listens as well to have a really, really good, grasp on every note. But that's just kind of my relationship with Voivod in its entirety, is I need to listen to more of it. And no, I didn't even bother listening to the new record. I'm a new Voivod fan. I hated it for a long time, so I'm still working on it. So I want to go for like the classic stuff, thrash stuff, before I start getting into the weird prog, because I don't know how I will feel about it, and I don't want to get a bad taste in my mouth before I even took a bite, Next, I mentioned this band earlier, Magnus with Rewind. I got this for free in that House Headbangers package, and I was like, I have no clue what this is. I hit it on Discogs. It wasn't on there. This is a radio show with one of the guys from Magnus, or some of them. It's all in Polish, which I know a little bit of Polish, but I sure cannot keep up with what these dudes are talking about by any means. So it's cool. But it's probably just going to sit on the shelf though. So, Magnus. And lastly, for this video here, I went to the Crook, again, Half Price Crooks, and like I said in the last video, I was digging in the $1.99 get this out of my store bin, and I found this. This is Evernight by Battle Roar. This is a Finnish epic symphonic metal band, which is about as dorky as a description can get. And then I saw how much eyeliner was on all these guys, and that was on Napalm Records, and I was like, yeah, this is going to sound like some folk metal. And it kind of does, not really. It sounds a whole lot more like Leaves' Eyes, or like a weaker version of Nightwish, which is kind of what Leaves' Eyes sounds like. But it's cool. I really like Nightwish, so I think eventually I will learn to properly appreciate the style entirely. And it's good to have some more of that kind of stuff on hand, other than just what I do, the 2-3 albums I do have. So yeah, that's Battle Lore. Definitely, maybe $1.99 CD, but whatever. So yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed the last update of the year here. After this, it's going to be my year-end list, which is going to come out on like what, the 30th or something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned for that year-end list. Keep it greasy.